Hello guys, welcome back to the another video. In today's video, we are going to review a new tech Chungmyung. We already know that if you have seen battles of her, she was dealing a lot of damage. Mainly, this video is to how to stop her DMG. Everyone can read her skills and know how she was dealing DMG. It's not a matter to make a video for it. But in addition to that, we are going to uh, show the counter attacks that can reduce her DMG, not completely countering. There is no complete counter to her, but we can reduce her DMG a little bit. Let's go through the video. Yeah, coming to her passive, she gains an attack priority in the battle and 52.7% debuff resistance. Remember this thing, it will. I have a point on this thing. 52.7% debuff resistance. However, she cannot receive buffs. She cannot receive any kind of buffs, even like healing buffs from Elizabeth Swan and the ship firepower increase buffs or immune to damage buffs. Those kind of buffs, she can't receive those kind of buffs. Okay. And coming to air reputation, greatly decreasing the evasion for multiple ships. She decreases the evasion of the multiple ships due to her passive. And that's what the main thing. At the start of the battle only, because of the passive, right? High attacks gains attack priority in battle. At the start of the battle, at the first round, the opponent's evasion will be reduced by a lot. This is the what major thing that happening, because another, if any other formations without her can have a evasion debuff thing, because their evasion will fall a lot. That's the one major thing. And next, coming to her first ability, attack one enemy ship and deal additional DMG proportional to your ship versus ship firepower. 50% additional armor piercing is applied to the additional DMG at a 40% chance. If you look at this, the additional DMG, the armor piercing is applied to only the additional DMG, not for the main DMG. Okay, not for the main DMG she dealt, but the only for additional DMG. She is the tag that only deals more damage on the additional DMG only, not on the raw damage. She deals a lot damage with additional DMG because of this armor piercing. Armor piercing, 50% armor piercing is a lot for her in the early stages of the battle. Okay, deal double additional DMG at 20. This is a 20% chance. Here it is at 40% chance. However, this is not a main issue. The main issue comes with our next ability. If you look at this, same attack 3 enemy ships and increases the damage they take from additional damage. See, increases the damage they take from additional damage. Means that it's totally about the additional damage. Okay, it's totally about the additional damage. 100% additional armor piercing is applied to additional damage at 85% chance. 85% chance is a lot to apply this armor piercing to the additional DMG. And not only that, increases ship versus ship firepower for yourself. She is a tactician just like Takayama, who increases their ship versus ship firepower. Every turn when attacking, increases ship versus ship power and restoring stamina for yourself. She is just like a combination of Takayama and Ivan Rev, born from them. Just a combination of both. Greatly recover own stamina at 20%. Here also, recover a certain percentage of damage dealt. Heals on the damage should dealt. Okay, increases ship versus ship power for yourself. Okay, this is the thing. This is what completely about her. Now we are going to look into the counters. Okay, counters. At first, for a high DMG dealer, we need to have a good tank, right? Let's get into this. Robot Wind. Robot Wind, if you go to this passive, decreases the additional DMG taken by multiple ships. Okay, the additional DMG taken by multiple ships will be reduced. Not only that, where it is, he can reduce the stamina. He can reduce the stamina of our opponent and increases his own stamina. These two things are the best things that he had, which makes him to use against Chungmyung. It is the only best thing. He is the only tactician or tank type had this thing, decrease the additional DMG taken from multiple ships. Only he only had the same thing. Okay, he only had this thing. No other tank had this thing. If you go to another counter, where is she? Windalen also a good one for this. Let's see, where is the Windalen? I think we have to go down here. Yeah, if you see this, I think second ability, I think not this, third ability maybe. Yeah, if you see this, attack multiple enemy ships and remove all debuffs from multiple ally ships. And here what comes, reduce the additional DMG taken by multiple ships by 30% chance, by 30%, by 30% for 2 turns. And if you see this C rating, increase additional DMG reduction by 10%. In total 40% of the additional DMG is reduced, which is the core DMG of Chungmyung is reduced by 40%. Chungmyung's DMG is reduced by 40% here. Along with Victoria Ellen and Wind Robot, these both can decrease damage a lot. Okay, these two are good addition to your fleet if you are going against Chungmyung. That's the thing. And you have to see another thing. We discussed the additional DMG, right? We cut off the DMG part, not the piercing part. Okay, we cut off the DMG part, not the piercing part. If we go to piercing part, we have few tags that can counter this piercing part. Who are they? Means Victoria, Lena, where is she? Let's go. Victoria Fire and Mary Innis. Okay, see this. Grant resistance to armor piercing for multiple ally ships, including yourself, for 3 turns at max level. Okay, at starting it is 1 turn, but at max level it goes for 3 turns. Okay, this is the major thing. She can grant resistance to armor piercing, but I don't know how much it is. It didn't say grant 100% resistance to armor piercing, right? It doesn't say like that. It just say grant armor piercing resistance like that. It doesn't say 100% armor piercing. I still have doubt on that, but yet this tactician works. I recommend her only on defense. She is not good for offense. Okay, many users are for offense, but yeah, it works, but she is mainly good for defense. She is mainly good for defense only. For defensive purposes, she is a lot more good in defense. You can definitely have her in defense, not only for Chungmyung, even if for any other tags, if they are on maximum, they have 70% armor piercing, right? If you see this at S3 level, awaken effect, 70% armor piercing. This will have for every tactician. This will have for every tactician in the game. That's why if you are facing the S level 3 tacticians, S level 3 max tacticians, you have to use her in defense. This is very good addition for defense. I surely recommend her in the current meta. Okay, next up, Wind Ellen. It's over, right? Wind Ellen over. Next, Fire Ellen. I have to find Victoria Fire. Okay, let's go to here. Fire. Victoria Ellen Fire. Yeah, this one. Victoria Ellen Fire. I think third ability maybe. Yeah, third ability, as I know. Attack multiple enemy ships and remove all debuffs. Multiply all debuffs for multiple ships. Upon critical hit, render multiple ally ships immune to debuffs additional 2 turns. Okay, next coming to air reputation, only on reputation, right? A bit costly, but on reputation, grant armor piercing resistance to multiple ally ships including self for 1 turn, increasing armor piercing resistance for another turn, totally 2 turns. She can, when she fires the third ability, she can grant you armor piercing resistance for 2 turns. That's what the good thing about her. This is not the passive, it is an ability. Means there is a chance that she can fire it multiple times. If you had a good tank, like if you use Wind Robot and Vikelen, and along with Vikelen, if you, there is a possibility that you can use LN fire, then it grants you 2 turns of armor piercing resistance whenever she fires. This I would recommend her only try against Chungmyung, not in general cases. General case there are very better options for that. I don't know how it would be, but it can be good. It can be good. Try it out once. If it's effective, we can continue with this. But if it's not effective, nothing we can do. Because if you see, she has a good kit than Mary Ines. Okay, at B rep she remove all debuffs on multiple ships. Either decrease enemy ship versus ship damage, which is major DMG of Chungmyung, ship versus ship damage, right? We have read her in here. Okay, let's go to light. Chungmyung, where is Chungmyung? Yeah. If you come here, look at this. Additional ship versus ship DMG at 40%. And next, if you come at this, here also, additionally increases the additional DMG armor piercing effect. Okay. So that's why I'm recommending in offensive combat use Victoria fire along with Victoria. I mean both Victorias are working a lot great. That's what I'm saying. Maybe many are using a Will and Elizabeth combo, but you can use that. You can use that for more damage and the sustain. But I don't know which one is best thing. You can still use a Will and Elizabeth, but try this out once. And if it's work, great. It's okay. If it's not, let me know in the comment section. We have to use her, right? I don't have that these tacticians at right now. I can't use her against Chungmyung at my level. Many players are not having Chungmyung at my level, right? There is a chance that I find Chungmyung on my level. I will definitely post a video, but it's a very rare case. People stick to very few formations in my level. Those who are at high levels try her once. If she works, let me know in the comment section. And next up is light. Where is he? Next up is Shad Light. Why am I recommending Shad Light against Chungmyung? Because it's not like you have to replace him with the Wind Robot. It's not like that. Wind Robot is still better, a lot more better than Shad Light, a lot more better against Chungmyung, especially. Next 30% damage reduction to all this is the one best thing. If you see this, he can reduce the 30% damage reduction to self. Even if Chungmyung hits him, he can sustain. At S rating, it increases up to 60%. He can reduce the 60% damage of the Chungmyung. He can sustain Chungmyung's DMG, right? And not only that, if you come here, this is what I am going to talk about. This is the major thing. That's why I am recommending him against Chungmyung. But there is only a 50% chance of this because of the, I told you, right, to remember Chungmyung's resistance is 52.7% to debuffs. That's what the problem. Chungmyung's resistance, if you see, have the highest attack priority in battle and confuse one enemy for 1 turn. Okay, he can confuse, right? And coming back here at sea level effect, it not set at S level, I think. At S level effect, increase confuse duration by 1 turn for the target with the highest ship versus ship firepower. The target has highest ship versus ship firepower. The confuse will be increased to 2 turns, right? Increased by 1 turn. It's totally for 2 turns. Then why am I saying this? Because if you go to Chungmyung, she is the tactician that have a high amount of 5,900 stats. No one had this. No other tactician had this high. Okay, no other tactician had it this high. Ship versus ship firepower is a lot for Chungmyung at high levels. Even if there would be a lot animal companion and other buffs also raises her ship versus ship firepower. She is the tactician that deals damage on ship versus ship firepower, and she scales on it, she increases on it, everything goes on it. So it's very good to use Shad Light. But why am I saying it is only 50%? Because see this 52.7% debuff resistance. This is what the counter counters the Shad Light. But if you don't have Wind Robot, you can use Shad Light against her to confuse her a bit. But if enemy had Alpaca, she can stay immune for that one. Even if enemy had Shad Light, it will counter you, because the Shad Light along with confuse, he grants the immunity for debuffs for 1 turn. So make sure to use him only against some special combinations only. You can't use him on every combination. Make sure that what enemy is using. I especially recommend to use Wind Robot against her, because of the additional DMG reduction. See this one here, additional DMG. Maybe this one is not a lot, but this one is still counts, right? This one is not a lot, but this one is still counts. The major part comes from here. Where is Windalen? Yeah, major part comes from here. See, this is the ability. They're not even a rep. Okay, this is the ability. Reduce additional DMG taken by multiple allied ships by 30% for 2 turns. Many of you had a doubt that why we have to use additional DMG reduction instead of armor piercing reduction, right? Let me explain that. How should I say? If you dealt 500 DMG and there is an armor effect with 300, right? There is if enemy had 300 armor and you had 500 damage, if you dealt 200 of your damage will get applied. In basic normal things, 200 of your damage gets applied to the enemy ship. But if you have 150 armor piercing and this 500 damage and enemy with 300 armor, then your DMG will be applied 150 ahead. Okay, yeah, and then enemy will only have 150 armor. Enemy only have 150 armor, not 300 armor. And if you dealt 500 damage, then 350 damage will get applied, not 200. 350 damage will get applied to enemy. Hope you guys understand. Let me say again. 500 damage you have and enemy had 300 armor. In normal cases, if you dealt 200 damage will get applied to enemy. In armor piercing case, if you have 150 armor piercing, you fear that 300 armor gets to 150 and your damage 500 gets to 350. In first case you dealt only 200 damage and in second case you dealt 150 high damage. That's what the piercing means. And what is the additional DMG? Additional DMG means the damage, this 500 damage, right? This 500 damage gets reduced by 40%. I'm not good at maths, maybe it comes around 300 like that. 300 like it gets around 300, and with 150 armor piercing, you had 300 armor, 150 pierced, so you still have 150, and she is dealing 300 damage only. 200 damage. Then how much it's go to 150 damage. Okay, right, only dealt damage of 150. So this is the major difference. You will take a lot of damage if you have armor piercing resistance, if you built up the armor piercing resistance. You don't need to build up armor piercing resistance if you have good buffs. Okay, if you are around 800 to 900 armor, there is no need of the tags, armor piercing tags, armor piercing resistance tag. You don't need that armor piercing resistance tags unless it's defense or ports, that such type of things you only need for that things. You don't need it for normal 5v5 cases. Okay, use the additional DMG reduction tacticians instead of that. These works very effective than that. Okay, using of additional DMG reduction tacticians is very effective against a Chungmyung than using the armor piercing resistance tacticians. Okay, that's a very good thing. And another thing I wanna say about is Jack. Jack is a clear counter for this tactician, and I mean at least for a bit. Chungmyung's first ability is nothing against Jack, because if you see, reduce all the damage taken by 50% for 2 turns. All the damage by 50%. Any damage, even with piercing or without piercing, the damage gets reduced to 50%. The way I am recommending him, because he is a dark type tactician and Chungmyung is a light tactician. That's why Chungmyung keeps on hitting this guy. That's why her first ability gets completely nullified against Jack. Okay, if you have good Jack around 75 peril like that and S level 2 Jack, I would recommend Jack to use against Chungmyung too, but it's a very rare case. If you have any other tacticians, use them. If you don't have them, then consider using Jack. Otherwise, no. Okay. And coming to, he can stay immune at his reputation. Where is it? Yeah. If you use this, okay, where is he? And here, say this: greatly decrease the ship's armor for 2 turns and become immune to damage for 1 turn. You can become immune to damage for 1 turn, and on his reputation, that immunity goes for 2 turns. Where Chungmyung keeps on hitting this guy, and this guy tanks a lot and stays immune to the damage. Okay, that's the good thing about him, but only use him right now. He is not dealing damage at all, a lot of damage. That's why people are not using him, and especially he is not in the meta right now. But I recommend to try it if you don't have any other options. He is very effective than many others. And if you guys can ask what's the formation against Chungmyung, of course Chungmyung is good against Chungmyung. If you don't have her, I would recommend Takayama along with Will Turner and Elizabeth also fine. But if you don't have Will Turner and Elizabeth, if you don't have a good Will Turner and Elizabeth, you can use Takayama, Maverick Chaos. Next up, Wind Ellen, Wind Robot, and we need to figure out the one more tactician that can Wind Ellen, Wind Robot. I can also use that. If you don't have Elizabeth and Will, we need to figure another good support. Who is going to be a good support, brother? Vikelen also fine. Vikelen is fine, and Wadatsumi is also fine. You can use Wadatsumi also. Vikelen is a lot more fine. Vikelen fire. Okay, you can use both Vix and this guy Wind Robot and Takayama and Maverick Chaos. That's gonna be enough to destroy Chungmyung completely. They can completely destroy Chungmyung. Okay, if not her, you can use Beyond Jensen. If you don't have Vikelen fire, you can use Beyond Jensen, but make sure to use Ellen Wind and Wind Robot against her. They destroys her damage completely. That's my suggestion to use, and that's it. I think Mary Ines only in a rare cases. Okay, also works awesome in the defense, not on offense. Okay, offense at might falls a bit, but try it out, because she can also heal, right? She can also heal and raise your gunpowder capacity right here. If you see, raise your gunpowder capacity also, and increase the stamina with the lowest ship, ship with lowest gunpowder. Yeah, you can use her with Maverick, right? Like the formation goes like Takayama, Maverick, Marinis, Windalen, and Wind Robert. This formation goes very nice because there is a gunpowder supply right here. Fully restore gunpowder capacity to one ally ship with lowest gunpowder, which is Maverick. Maverick going to be low in the gunpowder, right? That's why she is very useful in combination with the Maverick. The formation is good. If you don't have Chungmyung, use Takayama, and after Takayama it goes with Maverick, Marinis, Windellen, Wind Robot. Here we come, so we are having armor piercing resistance from Marinis, and not only that, you are going to have additional DMG resistance from Windellen and Wind Robot, which is the major damage reduction and the nerf to Chungmyung. Okay, these tacticians can nerf Chungmyung completely and throw her out of the box. Don't even worry about the DMG of her, but still she is dealing a lot of damage. But try this out, try this combo out. I'm gonna repeat it once again. Takayama, Maverick Chaos, Marinis, Windellen, Wind Robot. Make them at max rep. Okay, I am saying this formation is only for max reputations, not for others, but this is works very fine with max reputation. But if you wanna use it go through them, and here, right, if she is at max level, there is no need of reputation. She can grant you 3 tons of armor piercing resistance. And for Wind Ellen, I think there is a reputation, right? For Wind Robot it's D reputation, I remember it. Here for Wind Robot it's D reputation. If you goes for Wind Ellen it's C reputation, and in normally also you can use her because it's of ability to. If you want some more, and you can use this. Okay, make sure you have D reputation Wind Robot and a good level of a Wind Ellen, Victoria Wind Ellen. Okay, that's gonna be very good. Hope you guys like the video. Hit the like button and subscribe for more info. I'm gonna try as my best to provide you good information among the tags and ships. Okay, makes the game